Have you ever had a dream that felt so big, so important, that you told yourself, I'll start it when everything is just right? When I have more money, when I have more time, when I know exactly what I'm doing, when the kids are older, when the market is better. If you've ever waited for that perfect moment, you already know how it ends. It doesn't come. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. This channel is a conversation, not a lecture, a space where we figure things out together in real time with all the messiness that comes with being human. If that's what you're looking for, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to Elevate Your Daily. It's the best way to stay connected to this kind of honest, grounded exploration. Today, I want to talk about something I've struggled with for most of my life, the paralyzing belief that I need to wait for the perfect time before I start. I've spent years researching, planning, and preparing for a future that never seemed to arrive, and in the process, I missed countless opportunities to build real momentum. Through my own trial and error, my own moments of doubt and small breakthroughs, I've come to see that waiting for perfect conditions isn't a sign of wisdom, it's a losing strategy disguised as prudence. In this video, I'll explore 5 questions that helped me break free from this trap. These aren't abstract theories, they are the exact questions I asked myself during a low, stuck moment last year, and they completely changed my direction. The 5 questions are: 1. What am I actually waiting for, and is it even real? 2. How has my pursuit of readiness become a form of avoidance? 3. What can I learn only by starting, not by studying? 4. How does momentum create its own clarity, where planning creates only more questions? 5. What is the smallest, most honest action I can take right now with the resources I have today? Let me walk you through how these questions landed in my life and how they might help you too. Number 1. What am I actually waiting for, and is it even real? For years, I told myself I was waiting to write my book until I had more time. It was my go-to excuse, and it sounded so reasonable. But one Sunday morning, I decided to get brutally honest with myself. I took out a notebook and wrote down exactly what more time looked like. Was it a sabbatical? A silent retreat? A magical future where my responsibilities vanished? As I wrote, I realized my perfect time wasn't a real place. It was a fantasy, a mental escape hatch I used to avoid the messy reality of starting now. I read a study once that said the average person spends over 2 hours a day on their phone. I tracked my own usage for a week and was stunned to see I was averaging 3. My lack of time wasn't a fact, it was a story I was telling myself to justify my inaction. I realized that the perfect time isn't a destination you reach, it's a mirage that recedes the closer you get. The only real time is now, the imperfect, messy, uncertain present. And if I wasn't willing to start here, I would never start at all. Number 2, how has my pursuit of readiness become a form of avoidance? I've always been a researcher. I love to learn, to plan, to map out every possible scenario. For my first business, I spent 6 months building a business plan, studying my competition, and reading every book on entrepreneurship I could find. I told myself I was being responsible, but looking back, I see that I was hiding. I was using preparation as a shield against the vulnerability of actually doing the work. I noticed this pattern repeating itself. Every time I faced a big, scary project, my first instinct wasn't to start, it was to gather more information. It felt productive, but it was just a sophisticated form of procrastination. I realized that readiness is often the enemy of action. You will never feel 100% ready. There will always be one more thing to learn, one more expert to consult, one more variable to consider. The truth is, you don't need to be ready. You just need to begin. Number 3, what can I learn only by starting, not by studying? This was the biggest shift for me. I used to believe that knowledge came before action, that I had to understand everything before I could do anything. But I've since learned that the most valuable knowledge is born from action itself. Last year, I wanted to launch a new online course, but I was stuck on the curriculum. I spent weeks agonizing over the perfect structure, the ideal modules, the most engaging content. I was trying to design the whole thing in my head. Finally, out of frustration, I did something I never would have done before. I recorded a single 15-minute lesson on the one idea I felt most confident about. I didn't have a full course. I didn't have a fancy sales page. I just had one piece of value. I sent it to 5 people on my email list and asked them for their honest feedback. Their responses were simple, but they were gold. They pointed out assumptions I'd made, questions I hadn't considered, and a clarity I could never have reached by planning alone. I realized that action is the ultimate teacher. You can study the ocean from the shore your whole life, but you'll never learn to swim until you get wet. The map is not the territory. You have to step onto the path to see what's really there. Number 4, how does momentum create its own clarity, where planning creates only more questions? I used to think that clarity came before momentum, that I needed to have a crystal clear vision, a perfect plan, and a detailed roadmap before I could move forward with confidence. But I found the opposite to be true. Momentum creates clarity. When you're standing still, every option looks equally plausible and equally terrifying. Your mind spins in circles, inventing problems that may not even exist. But the moment you take a step, any step, the fog begins to lift. I remember launching a small writing project with zero fanfare. I didn't wait for a big announcement or a perfect design. I just started publishing short essays every Tuesday. At first, I had no idea if anyone was reading or if it would lead anywhere. But with each post, something shifted. I started to see what resonated. I began to understand my own voice more clearly. I built a tiny audience, which gave me feedback, which gave me direction. The project found its own shape, not through my planning, but through my doing. I realized that waiting for clarity is a trap. Clarity isn't a precondition for action, it's the reward for it. You don't find your path by staring at the horizon, you find it by walking. Number 5, what is the smallest, most honest action I can take right now with the resources I have today? This question has become my personal compass. Whenever I feel stuck, overwhelmed, or like I'm waiting for the stars to align, I ask myself this. It cuts through all the noise. It brings me back to the ground. It reminds me that I don't need perfect conditions. I just need to be honest about what I can do today. I tried this last month when I was feeling paralyzed about a new creative project. Instead of waiting for a block of ideal time, I asked myself, what's the smallest, most honest step I can take? The answer was open a blank document and write a single paragraph. That's all I did, and that one paragraph became the seed for everything that followed. I've learned that perfection is the enemy of progress, but honesty is its greatest friend. The most powerful actions aren't the grand, perfect ones. They're the small, true ones, the ones that say, this is what I have and I'm going to use it. Your turn, one simple step. If you're feeling stuck in the waiting room of someday, here's one practical step you can take this week. Ask yourself, what's the smallest, most honest action I can take right now? Then do that one thing. Not the perfect thing, not the big thing, just the next true thing. Maybe it's sending that one email. Maybe it's sketching that first idea on a napkin. Maybe it's recording a 60-second voice memo of your core concept. Don't wait for the perfect time. Start with the time you have. Use the tools you have. Share the idea you have. Momentum is built one imperfect action at a time. I'm not sharing this because I've mastered the art of fearless action. Far from it. I'm sharing it because I'm still learning how to trust the process, how to start before I'm ready, and how to find peace in the uncertainty. So if you're on that same path, if you're tired of waiting for a perfect future that never comes, I'm so glad you're here. This isn't about hustling harder or faking confidence. It's about showing up with what you have, where you are, and trusting that the act of beginning is its own kind of magic. So if you'd like to keep having these real conversations, I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to Elevate Your Daily. This channel is a home for the thoughtful.